And what we're looking at is a sub panel that's in the laundry room of this house, and that's where many of them are located, but a lot of the newer ones have them in the garage. And so what I'm going to do in this episode is I'm going to teach you how to do like a basic inspection on these and how to replace a breaker if you're brave enough to do that yourself. If you're not, I highly recommend that you use an electrician to do that. But we're going to render this panel safe to work on, and the way we want to do it is we're going to go outside and we're going to shut the main breaker off to this panel. So let's walk on out there. It's just right around the corner. A real pretty day today. Nice and cool. So we're going to go around here to the panel out here on the outside. And there it is right there. All these are properly marked. And so this is the main to the sub panel. We're going to kill it. And we're going to make sure that that's off as well. Alright, so I've got the door open to this, but I'm going to close it back. And most of these panels, they always seem to have flathead screws. So that's what I have here is a pretty well insulated flathead screwdriver. And so any time you come to a panel like this, before you actually grab the door, it's always kind of good to bump your hand back against it, because if this panel is energized, it'll knock you back off of it. So I'm going to leave this door closed just a little bit, not snap shut, and I'm going to remove the screws around this thing. And there's a certain way, it's really a safer way to remove this panel. And I always kind of lean up against it and start with the top left screw first. I keep these jungle fatigue pockets, so that's where I keep all my screws. You always want to take the last screw out that's the easiest to get to. So, you know, that might vary with you. I mean, maybe it might be easier to take these out last, but I'm going to start leaning against it now because we're getting all the screws out. These normally come out pretty easy, and usually you can put them back in with your fingers. In fact, you should try to do that, putting them back in, because if they don't go in with your fingers, you may have it cross-threaded, and they can be a bitch to get in if you cross-thread them. And these are the proper panel screws, and there's none missing. Usually some of these are missing, and you can tell because there's no point on this, because often what happens, they lose the screws and they just put regular sheet metal screws in with a point, and sometimes it can be too long and penetrate the wiring in there, and then that's what will energize the cover of this box. Okay, so I'm holding it against it because I want to fall off, but if it does slip and fall, just let it hit the ground. Don't try to catch it, because what can happen, if you try to catch this thing can tilt inward and get on one of those wires and light you up. It's okay, so we got it opened up now. And so now we're going to make sure that this power's off. Just because it says the main panel doesn't mean that it could be. It could be mislabeled. That happens quite often. So I have a voltage tester here. I like these that don't take batteries, because, you know, what if the battery's bad and you're not getting a reading and it's actually hot. So I'm going to go to this pole here. These are the hot leads that come into this. And so this is what energizes this whole panel here. And so it's dead in the water. There's no power coming to this. And so what you have on each one of these wires is you have 120 volts here and 120 volts there, and the two of them together equal 240 volts. And so your single breakers like this here are going to be just for 120 volts. That's going to be your outlets, your switches, and your double pole breakers, which is none in this box. They're on the outside panel. There'll be about two breakers in one. There'll be a cut off a bridge here. There'll be two of these, because 120 is 240. And so what happens sometimes is I've seen some jackleg stuff go on where they don't want to buy a two-pole breaker. So what they'll do is they'll buy two single breakers and then put a nail between these, drill a hole through it, put a nail. But this is really dangerous because one leg of this can trip and the other not. And so that's just some jackleg stuff I've seen in the past. All right, so we're going to get to taking this stuff out, or taking two of these breakers out. It's always kind of good to have a step ladder too right beside you. You can lay your tools on. Now there's another device you can use. It's called a voltage sniffer. You turn this thing on and you can go up to this and and uses this thing to start beeping if it's got voltage going through it. This is actually pretty good to find wiring in the wall. So we're going to just go ahead and pull. The way this pulls out, so we can get this camera a little bit closer, is they just rock back to your right like that. And this black wire on here is the hot. And so normally these are either Phillips or flathead or combination of thereof. So I'm going to use my flathead on this here to do this. I actually like Phillips because it doesn't slip so much. And this wire just pulls right on out like that. And so when you put this wire back in, you want to go on the bottom side of it. So that way when you tighten it, it pulls the wire in instead of pulling it out. If you go on the top with it like this, it'll push the wire out. And so let's look at this breaker real quick. You can see that this has some burn marks on it. And that's why you should at least open up your panel and take a look at it. You'd be surprised, you might find some burned wires in there. I inspected a house about 3 years ago. I opened up the panel and I found a class ring inside the panel from 1974, and had aluminum wiring, of course. And I said, wow, look at that. And when I went to the homeowner with it, she says, we've been looking for that ring for decades and we never could find it. And what happened is her husband was working on the panel and he didn't want to have this ring on when he was working on this wiring, left it in there and closed the box up and forgot about it. So that was kind of a cool story right there. And so anyway, we got this black wire, which is the hot, and it actually shows a little bit of burning there on the wire. And these whites, the white ones here are called neutral wires, and they should be separated at the sub panel, and which they are. You see this bar right there. This bar is called the neutral side, and it should be separated from the ground. These are the ground, these are bare wires, and this actually links up to that ground rod that goes in the ground outside the home. So you can see how there's a little slot right there. This goes right in there, and so the way this goes is you can just put it in like that, and then it stabs in like that. You can see right there, see where it's burnt right there? It actually broke off. It got so hot. So this breaker's defective, and so it's actually a fire hazard, and that's why it's probably good, if you have the mechanical aptitude, to do this yourself, or if not, hire an electrician to come out there and inspect your panel, because this sort of situation can be going on and you not realize it, and you burn your house down. So I know, well, that's what I've got fire insurance for, but I'm going to tell you, I don't have any faith in these insurance companies. My neighbor of mine lives down the street. His house was destroyed by Sally, and it took a year for the insurance to pony up and do the right thing. And it took longer than that to get the house built because they didn't have the money to do it. So, main thing is to stay safe. Not only that, you might be in a house and it catches on fire. So, it's really good to do these type of due diligent projects, at least inspect it if nothing else. And that's why I showed you, how to turn the power off there at the main. Now, so you may be wondering what this thing is up there at the top. That's actually a transformer for the doorbell. And sometimes they're located inside these boxes, which is also against code for them to do that in most cases. And so another problem we have going on in this panel is that these top two breakers are not compatible with this breaker box. They're not the same brand. Now this is a Murray panel, and that is a Siemens breaker, and I think I can't remember what this one is over here, but they're not the same brand. And if you go and look, there's an article that states that Siemens breakers are compatible with Murray after the year 2003. Well, this panel's 1979, so it's not compatible to it, and this other one certainly isn't. And so what you're going to notice is this here, if I can get this camera straightened back out. One of the reasons why this panel cover will not fit is because it's not the right breakers. So this panel should not have an issue fitting on this thing. So look at this here. Go up there with this. You see, it's catching this breaker right there. And so that's reason number one why you don't want to use the wrong breakers on these panels. And not only that, it can void the warranty on your panel as well using the wrong breaker. Usually it states on those panels, you know, that warranty is voided if you do not use the right breakers on this thing. And you also don't want to use oversized breakers either, because in this case we don't have that issue. This is 12-2 wire here, but most of the time this is 14-2 wire, and this is 20 amp breaker. So if this was 14-2 wire like most houses do have, you put a 20 amp breaker on this, it could burn this wiring up because that breaker's oversized for the wiring. And I found that quite often. And if you have aluminum wire, you say, well, I've got 12-2 aluminum coming to my breaker. Well, it has to be 10-2. It has to be one size bigger. So the lower the number, the bigger the wire. So 14 is smaller than 12. So, you know, if you have aluminum wiring, you should replace it. That should just be gone. And there's some panels out there, if you live in an older home, that have been deemed defective. Federal Pacific is one of them. So there's a lot of houses with those stab lock Federal Pacific breaker box in homes. And so if you have that panel and others like it, you might want to have that replaced or have an electrician come out there and evaluate it. And if you have aluminum wiring, I strongly recommend that you have your house rewired. Anyway, this is it. And so these breakers do go bad occasionally. And in this case here, it went bad because of a fault condition. And so sometimes I wonder why this had this fault. Because it has the right size wiring coming to a 20 amp breaker. It could be several things. One, in this case, is a theory, is that downstream from this, they tied in 14-2 wire. And so where this is 12, where they made a bridge connection, that wire was smaller and it ran for a long ways. And also was probably powering an old attic fan, which is not very efficient. So it increased the amp load on this system, and that's what caused this to burn here at the breaker. It's what I think happened. Now, another issue you can have, which we don't have in this case, thank goodness, but you can see some of this overspray in this panel. Well, if these bus bars get painted, well, that can stop the connection too and create a big problem. These are the things you want to look out for when you pull your panel off. Just make sure that you keep the breaker off until after you get the lid put back on. Also keep it clean too. I've already vacuumed this out. So what happens is if there's gaps anywhere, even inside the house, sub panel, all kinds of things can get in this thing. I found electrocuted mice across these poles, lizards, and then if you have an outdoor panel, if it's not sealed correctly, wasp nests can build in there, and you'll be in for a big surprise when you go to open that thing. In fact, always look and see if there's any large holes in your panel outside before you take the cover off, because there's a 50% chance there's going to be a wasp nest in there. I hope this has been informative, guys. This would be useful information to save you a lot of money, because, you know, just being able to change out your own breaker would save you $200. Take care, guys.